it's a jam-packed transmission, so stay with us. First off, 11 years ago at the new millennia, 2000, that was really 1 year short. 2001 was actually the start of the next 1,000 years. World leaders all gathered there at the Great Pyramid outside of Cairo and engaged in bizarre rituals on television. It was hidden in plain view. And because of so many people attempting to conduct rituals around the Great Pyramid, they closed it. But then there were other reports that there were actually elitists inside engaging in their own rituals. In fact, there's the Jerusalem Post. Egypt closes pyramid over 11/11/11 ceremony of love. It turns out another group of occultists wanted to put a circle around it and quote, hug the pyramid. But again, that's just their cover for their bizarre rituals that are taking place. So even if you don't believe in the occult, if you really study politics globally and study anthropology or history, the elites are always obsessed with it. Now, we've seen a lot of weird rituals going on out in California. They're having Aztec rituals in public. They're engaged in weird rituals at the Great Pyramid. But let's look at the Masons in this country and a lot of the dark occultic things that have entered the Masonic Lodge since the time of Adam Weishaupt's Illuminati in Germany that took over France and then, of course, tried to invade the United States. George Washington himself warning about these groups. This is what's really going on. These are the power structures that are controlling our society today. These are the good old boy clubs. And I wanted to point out, this is footage from the 10th anniversary of 9/11, where they engaged in a Masonic ritual. And isn't that just special? You've got Dan Rather back to report on the date. CBS, the Eye of Horus. Let's play that footage one more time for people. And here is the honor guard surrounding the eye, and they've got even the Egyptian, corner there of the eye. Just absolutely incredible to see how they flaunt these Illuminati rituals
marking the time
right in front of us.
Place roses on the site for a flower arrangement that will be turned into a permanent.
Just incredible. Okay, continuing here on Veterans Day, or 11/11/11, heroes, soldiers thrown in the trash, military dump body parts of dead servicemen killed in Iraq and Afghanistan in landfill. They dumped the remains of the police and firemen and others from 9/11 in a landfill. So that's ongoing. And of course, it's also come out that they saw the body parts in half, put the wrong bodies in caskets. They just treat the dead like absolute filth, just like they let the troops have their pension funds stolen by the big insurance companies. And on top of it, let them breathe depleted uranium. It just shows how, as Henry Kissinger said, they're seen as dumb animals by the elite. But the Pentagon is reviewing punishment over war dead remains, even though it's come out now that the Pentagon was told about this going on years ago. Years ago. You see, if you treat the Iraqis like garbage, the troops are going to end up being treated like garbage as well. Also, a veteran has shot himself at a Vermont encampment, the Associated Press is reporting. They're also reporting that at some of the encampments, tuberculosis has broken out. So what's happening here is, whether you're for Occupy Wall Street or not, the system is using the fact that people are getting tuberculosis, getting shot, dying, robberies, deaths every day, as a pretext to demonize the idea of protest and demonstration, period, as if it's dirty, corrupt, and evil. We've confirmed here in Austin, Texas, that they arrest homeless sleeping anywhere in town, but they tell them, we'll allow you to go sleep at Occupy Wall Street outside City Hall. And then when they defecate all over the ground and don't use the porta potties, they demonize them. And it's the same thing now in the media, is that they're selling the idea that all these people are a bunch of criminals, but obviously criminals and homeless people and others are going to migrate and congregate around these open-air camps that are popping up. I mean, these are the modern Hoovervilles here in our nation. Now, continuing with our 11/11/11 Veterans Day coverage. Ron Paul's view on foreign occupations supported by U.S. troops, ignoring the facts. Establishment media smears Congressman as defending al-Qaeda, even though even ABC News has admitted this, most of the geopolitical experts say that Ron Paul is right. And of course, the vast majority, over 70% of the donations that troops give in the last election and this one are to Congressman Ron Paul. And I want to take you to a piece shot a few nights ago by Darren McBreen here in Austin, Texas, at the last Republican debate, which is really the modern form of a football party. But people, instead of being obsessed and concerned about mindless sports that don't mean anything in the final equation, people are actually getting their priorities straight and caring about real issues. And Darren also ran into a lot of veterans and current serving military that were here in Austin at Brave New Books downtown watching the debate. Here's that report.
Whoever thought that one person, the Federal Reserve Board chairman, knows what the money supply should be? Just in the past 6 months, M1 has gone up at the rate of 30%. That spells inflation, that spells lower standard of living and higher prices, and watch out, they're coming.
Tell us more about the blood sport, the comparison to this event compared to, let's say, football, boxing, that sort of thing.
Right. You know, football, boxing, these are called blood sports, but they really don't compare to the blood sport of ideas that are talked about in these debates. Because what goes on from here, people die as a result of these ideas, and there's real blood involved. And so it's important for Americans to realize that, you know, Monday Night Football is great. I love football. I love watching sports. But we're at a real time in our history where ideas matter much more than our favorite football team and who wins the Super Bowl.
I'm a veteran of the United States Army, and it's very important to me and a lot of my friends that I left when I ETS'd to bring heroes home out of frivolous corporate wars. The fact that my friends and my friends' brothers and my neighbors' brothers and daughters are dying for corporate greed that doesn't even trickle down to our defense and only makes us more unstable financially and physically, it's abhorrent. It disgusts me. And Ron Paul is the only candidate up there that I truly believe will stand up for his words.
Why do you think that is, that more military support Ron Paul than any other candidate?
Before I say anything, I'd like to say that my views do not represent the views of the Department of the Army, Department of Defense, but it's because a lot of us would like to see the war ended. That is the reason.
He gets not only more support from all the Republican presidential candidates combined, but more than the current president combined, all of them. So every veteran I talk to, they're all behind Ron Paul.
They will be going into Iran in the fall of 2012, right? Well, they're not giving play to the fact that we've already touched down in Uganda. We've already touched down in Kenya. We've already sent drones over Somalia. We are expanding our empire in a way that's just not going to stop unless there is some serious, drastic change, not just to the way we're doing things now, but the way we think about ourselves in the world.
I don't understand how we now have, 5 wars that are undeclared. I mean, we were bombing Libya, now we have people in South Africa and in Somalia. I don't understand why people think it's suddenly okay to kill people just because their guy's in office.
In my heart, I truly believe that Ron Paul is the last chance this country has. Because if they get by with this one, we're screwed.
My father, he told me back in the late 70s that Ron Paul stood for liberty and he stood for sound money. Because in 1965, when they took the silver out of money, my father told me that one day the dollar will become worthless.
A lot of us here realize that it's actually a lot more than just a presidential debate. It's more than just one guy to get us out of the mess that we're in and really do the revolution that we need. But it's so great to see that there are this many people. I don't see a bookstore that's here for Romney or any of the other presidential candidates. I see this all for someone who actually cares about the people and is addressing issues that are really prevalent, like end the Fed, ending all wars, as stopping the big government and the harassment of our people, and that's something that's really exciting.
Do you think Ron Paul's he responded to some of the student loan questions? Did you like his response on those issues?
I loved his response, and I think the government should be completely out of a student loan business. What they do whenever they get involved, they raise the price, because if you say you're going to supply the money there no matter what, you increase the demand, so the price is going to go up. If I said, all Americans should have bicycles, and I was a president and I had a program that gave everyone, money for bicycles or cars or something, what do you think the people who make the bicycles or cars are going to do? They're going to raise the prices.
We have to wise up and look at where the bubbles come from. It's from the Federal Reserve, and we should start by auditing the Fed, and then we should end the Fed.
Another great report by Darren McBreen and crew. Great job, and great job to all those great patriots down there. That is the committees of correspondence. That's the Sons of Liberty and the Daughters of Liberty right there. 2011, following in the footsteps of our founders. There is a contest, an animating contest between the forces of liberty and freedom and empowerment of the human spirit and individualism and the collectivist. We're going to defeat these zombies, ladies and gentlemen, together. Great job with that report. Very, very exciting to see that. And I know that people are really waking up and all the great points that were made there.